Hi guys, Jenny here again. Now today I want to talk about smart plugs. Well, I don't actually, but we've all got smart plugs. Well, those of us who are into our home automation. Is it really the right way to control something that's plugged into the wall? I'm not convinced it is. We plug these things into the wall socket, outlet as some of you like to call them, and there it stays with whatever device it is attached to it, plugged in to that smart plug all the time. It's unsightly, it takes up a lot of space, it stops you putting your furniture back close to where they were. To be honest, smart plugs, I'm not a fan. However, various people have started manufacturing smart sockets or smart outlets, so I thought I'd give one a go. But I thought I'd try something a little bit different, so I got myself this. This is a smart socket from BSeed. Now BSeed do a whole range of things, from plugs to switches, some smart, some ordinary, and you can mix and match them as you like. For the most part, they're also modular, so as a result you can reconfigure this however you like. As a smart socket, it comes in the box configured to run to you. Because it runs to you, we can just pair it directly to the app on our phone and it works perfectly. It's great, it is, but it's talking to China. Everything that is going on with this is talking to China. It's left a big hole in your network. Now, those of us who like to run Home Assistant to keep everything controlled internally in our own network know that two devices can be flashed with different firmware oftentimes. So we'll have a look inside this in a bit and see if we can change the firmware on this device, and if we can, we'll run our own firmware and then we'll have a look and see how good it is with local control instead of to you. One more thing I will say before we go and take this apart and have a look at it. It's quite deep, so make sure you check that the back box in the wall where you want to mount this is deep enough to take it. Remember, you need not only enough room from here to here, but you also need some more to have room for the wiring. So make sure that you've got enough depth in your wall box first. If you have, great, give them a go. Okay, let's go and open one up and have a look. Right, so let's take a closer look. I gotta say, I think this is one of the nicest sockets I've seen, smart or otherwise. I really like the design of this, and lucky for us, BSeed do a load of other outlets, different style sockets, switches and such forth, all in this range. And I've got to say, because it's a modular design, these individual sockets can be removed and replaced with something else if we felt like it. Okay, the first thing we need to do is bring the front plate off. Now the plate covers the screw holes where it screws to your wall box. So to do that, we just need to lever in these points here at the front, like that, and like that, like that. That's the only those clips that hold this one in. So it's dead easy once it's on the wall. Just clip that on, and if we need to take it off to get at the screws and take it off again, we can just lever it off. The individual sockets are then sat in this metal frame, and there's just little clips in each corner that hold it in. And they go out forwards, so we can see there's one, there's the next. If we lever those in on both sides, it'll slide straight out. And there we are, we've got the socket in our hands. Okay, now I'll move those out of the way a bit, we'll sort them out in a minute. But the next thing, if we're going to look inside this individual unit, we need to open it up. Now, if you look closely, there are 2 clips here. But there are 2 clips on every side, not just opposite sides. You can lever them off and the top will come off. So I'm going to do that off screen because there's not a chance of me being able to do it on camera. So I'll do that and then we'll have a look and see what's inside each one of these. Okay, once you've managed to pry the top off, it'll come off quite easily. Be careful here because there's a little pin that gets left behind at the side of the LED. We can see that the covers for the 3-pin plug are built into that lid. In the side there's the little pin that operates the button. And there's a little plastic support insulator over the internals there. Okay, we can see that there are 3 screws holding the circuit board in. So I'm going to go ahead and take those out and then we'll have a look both at this side and also at the other side. Okay, with the 3 screws out, we can now lift the circuit board out and take a closer look. This strip up this side here is for an RF antenna. It even says RF on it there, if it'll focus. And this isn't the version that has RF. I didn't choose the RF version, that's why there's nothing there. Then this chip here is the 2-year Wi-Fi chip. We can see on the top there it says TYW E2S. Now this is a standard 2-year module. They're used in a lot of devices, and fortunately for those of us who like to run our own firmware, it's fairly easy to flash. Okay, so we've got the button there, the LED there. You can see there's a bit of separation in various places. There's a few holes been made through the circuit board to give separation. On the back side we can see the relay, a 16 amp relay. Okay, there's a little transformer there to bring the power down for the electronics on the chip. If we need to flash the firmware using the old FTDI connector rather than using 2U convert, we can do this using this edge here. The pins you connect in this manner, and on the side is where you connect your ground. Okay, we'll reassemble this, put it all back together, and then we'll see about connecting it up. Okay, I flashed the first socket in this pair by connecting my FTDI adapter to the pins that I showed a minute ago, and it flashed beautifully with my own custom ESPHome firmware. The other one I thought I'd give 2U convert a go. It's great for a lot of things, and I'm not going to do a video on either flashing or 2uConvert. There's too many of those already. In fact, I think I might have done one myself at some point. Anyhow, check out some videos. I'll put links down below to a good video of flashing with the FTDI from Dr. Z's and a good 2uConvert video from DigiBlur. So go and try those. But I flashed the second device using the 2uConvert and it flashed perfectly. It has to be the newer version of the 2uConvert. The old version does not work anymore. I think now we'll go and have a look at the ESPHome sketch that I'm running on these sockets. Okay, this is my BSeed socket YAML file for ESPHome, and I make one file like this. I tend to do this if I've got more than one of any device. I make one that will do anything, and then I use substitutions. So I've got another file that has just got substitutions, and then it includes this file. So anywhere we've got a percent and then a name, that is a substitution. So in this case, the name is percent device name. In my other file, I've got a substitution for name, and I call it whatever I want this socket to be called. So we've got the platform and the board, the Wi-Fi information, the logger, the API, and a reboot timeout. And I normally set this to 0 for devices like this, so that if it loses its connection and decides to reboot and cut the power, that doesn't happen. We're running OTA so that we can do an over-the-air update, and then sensors for the Wi-Fi signal and the uptime. Binary sensor of the status, which is just the status of the device. Then on GPIO pin 13, and it's an inverted and a pull-up, is the button. If we click it on click for a minimum of 50 milliseconds and a maximum of 1 second, then it will toggle the relay. It'll turn it on or off. For a minimum length of 4 seconds and a maximum length of 10, that's a long press, then we're going to reboot the device. So if it's lost its signal, we can always reboot it manually. So then we've got the switch to reboot, and then we've got the GPIO relay, which is on GPIO 12, and we've given this the friendly name of the socket, given it the icon for the UK power socket in this case. When it's turned on, we want to turn on the red LED output. When it's turned off, we want to turn off the red LED output. So then we set up the red LED output. Here it is on GPIO 4. And then last of all, we're running the status LED, which is a blue LED, which is on pin 5. And I'm running it inverted, so if it's got a connection and all is well, the light will be out. So the red light will come on when we turn the socket on. The red light will go off when we turn it off. If it loses its connection, the blue light comes on. If we turn the socket on while the blue light's on, the light mixes the blue and the red together, and we get a sort of purpley pink. Okay, this is the substitution file. You can call this file whatever you like. We're not actually going to put any information about the configuration, just the names and the IP address and the reboot time. So all we do in this file is put substitutions, what this device is called, what its friendly name is, the IP address and the reboot time, and then we include that BSeed socket file. So we only need to make this every time we make another one of these BSeed socket configurations. So we can have as many of them as we like, and we only have to have the whole configuration in that one file. It also means if we ever want to change anything, we also only need to change that one file, and we can re-upload it to each of the others just from their individual substitution file. Okay, quick disclaimer guys, I'm not going to show you how to wire these up. If you're not 100% happy that you know what you're doing, do not wire these up. These are connected directly to the mains voltage in your house. If you're not certain that you know what you're doing, call an electrician and ask them to do it. It's not that difficult, but I'm not going to show you how to do it. Either you know how to wire it up or you don't. And since they're modular sockets, you've got two sets of connections instead of just one. So it's not exactly like a direct replacement for most UK sockets. Okay, so once the firmware is on the device, to get it into Home Assistant, all we've got to do is add it on the integrations page and we're good to go. And these things work brilliantly. Okay, so here it is next to a regular socket. It's flashing blue whilst it's booting and trying to connect to Home Assistant. Now it's stopped flashing now, so we can see that it's connected and we can control it. There's on, there's off, and if I control it from Home Assistant as well, there's on, and the other one. Okay, BSeed's website. I did contact BSeed some time ago through their website, bseed.com, to tell them I was going to do a review of this socket and give my thoughts on it. I never heard anything back. And since then, their website appears to have disappeared. Now, I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. It could mean that this will be the last we ever see of these sockets. On the other hand, it could mean that they're updating their website, which I certainly hope they are, because to be frank, the website was terrible. Still, we can keep our fingers crossed and hope, because I think these are great little sockets. They lack current monitoring, which would be nice. And apart from that, the biggest complaint I had was the fact that I can't just buy a little bit of this and a bit of that and bring them together in the own configuration that I want easily. There are still, however, plenty of these available on Amazon and eBay and places like that. So I'll post links below to some of these devices. Okay guys, I think that's it. On the whole, I'm very pleased with these sockets. They work really well. The website, it used to leave a lot to be desired. Now it's missing altogether. So supply may be an issue. Also, their customer support was practically non-existent, to be fair. And other than that, it's a shame because they're a really good socket. They work well, and they work well on 2-year. They work even better on custom firmware running ESPHome in my case. There's no reason why you couldn't run ESPHone or Tasmotor if you'd prefer. And through Home Assistant, they're great. They really are good. And for my mind, they're better than a lot of the other smart outlets that you do see. And they certainly look good. In fact, they look so good that I bought a matching light switch. A plain old-fashioned dumb light switch, but it matches this. And the reason I use a dumb light switch is because I'm using Shelly's on my lights. So, there we are guys. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below and the bell so that you get notified when I post new videos. Also, if you'd like to support my channel, you can check out my Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee pages. And in any case, remember to hit the thumbs up. Till next time guys,
See you soon.
And lever it off. Do the same at the other side. And the front cover should stay exactly where it is, because you can do this 7 million times before you're on the camera, but the second you put the camera there, does it work? Does it work? No, no, no. Even my little girl knows it doesn't work. Right, so we'll try that again, shall we?
I hear the rattling.
If you're not at all entirely happy with listening to the beagle scratching his butt in the cage next to me, then think of something else.